Hi everyone, welcome back to Better Computer. My name is Matt, and you know what? Let's just jump into it. I posed a question in the video title, let's just get right to the answer. So, is iOS 14.5, the current iOS beta, the longest running beta in iOS history? No, but it could get there. I'm recording this on April 8th, 2021, and as of today, it's been 66 days since Apple released the first beta of this version of iOS. That seems like a really long time to me, so to make sure I wasn't crazy, I went back and looked through every single point release of iOS since iOS 10.0 to see how long they were in beta, and I wanted to see what the results were. Here's a chart showing how long each of the betas for all 22 releases from iOS 10.0 up to 14.5 have lasted. The red bars are your major iOS updates. Those are your 10.0, 11.0, 12.0, all the way up to current day. And those are announced in June and released in September typically. So those are major updates. Those aren't really what we're talking about. So let's get those off the board. So now that we have the major releases out of the way, we have just the point releases on the chart right now. You can see iOS 14.5 is definitely one of the tallest bars on the chart, but it's not the tallest. It's actually the third tallest right now. At 66 days, iOS 14.5 is currently the third longest running beta in recent history, so in the history that I'm tracking here. The two longest betas actually happened in the iOS 12 days. So iOS 12.4 was the second longest, it was 68 days, so only 2 days longer than what we're currently at with 14.5. So unless Apple does a weekend release of iOS 14.5, which they will not do, 14.5 will pass 12.4 in the next couple days. So it will be the second one. But the real question is whether it becomes the longest. And the longest running beta since iOS 10 has been 12.2. That was the longest running beta ever in the history that I'm tracking here in modern iOS history. And it was an 80-day beta, which is pretty serious. The obvious question is, when will iOS 14.5 hit that? That would be April 22nd. So if April 22nd of this year rolls around and we don't have a public release of 14.5, then 14.5 is the new longest running beta in modern iOS history. One of the things that's making this update hard to wait for, I think, is the fact that there are some really cool features in here. The ability to unlock your iPhone when you're wearing a mask and an Apple Watch is a huge quality of life improvement and one that cannot get here soon enough. This makes the iPhone much more usable in the real world right now than it would be otherwise. And as time goes on, as we start to pull out of this whole thing, that's going to be less and less valuable over time. So the fact that it's kind of being held up by this release is frustrating. The new Siri voices are great.
No problem.
They just keep adding some new features. It seems like every beta there's some new features they're throwing in there, and it makes me really want this update to be out there and with everyone so everyone can enjoy these new cool things. And so it got me thinking, what are in the other updates that made them last so long? Were they software things? Were they hardware things? And when I look at iOS 12.4, which was the 68-day beta again, that one was not a huge update, but included support for Apple Cards. So Apple's credit card released, and this released in line with that. And so that was it's a hardware thing. It's technically a physical product, so it's a hardware thing. And so they had to wait for that. It coincided with the release of the Apple Card. 12.2, which was again the 80-day, the longest beta as of today, that one included support for the AirPods 2, or the second generation AirPods. And so that was likely held up due to the need to announce the AirPods 2 at a certain time when they were ready. So those are both kind of hardware related releases that lined up with a hardware event or an announcement. So is that going to happen with iOS 14.5? Probably. There were rumors of a March event that never happened. There are still rumors of an April event that's going to happen. We'll see. There's some code sleuths have figured out, they found some references to new hardware, maybe new iPads, maybe new iMacs in the code for iOS 14.5 and this stuff. And so maybe it's coming, maybe it's not. But yeah, it really feels like there's going to be a hardware release and then we're going to get iOS 14.5 in that time frame. Whenever they have that event and the new hardware comes out, I suspect that's when we'll get iOS 14.5. So yeah, until then, we're just going to have to wait. I think it is a really good update. The Face ID stuff, the new Siri voice, I use Voice 3, which sounds really, really good. It's a nice update. It's not going to change your world, but there are some nice quality of life things in there. And it sounds like there's going to be new hardware that they announce. I'm not even interested in the new hardware. I have no interest in a new iPad or a new iMac or anything, which are kind of the rumor things. But I really want the software to get out there because it's so good, and I hope that you guys all get to enjoy it as well. So that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you here next time. Bye-bye.